Hi, my name is Lisa, and my topic is the heart of SEL and tools that support emotional growth. I have been doing some research on trauma-informed practices, which is the way that we learn what the trauma is that a child has gone through. We recognize and we seek what is beneath the surface and why the student is going through what they are. From there, I learned about social emotional learning and how they're related, yet two different things. So the trauma-informed practices is how we recognize those signs. The social emotional learning is how we give them tools to handle what they're going through. It helps them to regulate, to connect, to grow, to cope. That is one of the biggest things to me that social emotional learning does, is give students some tools to help them to cope and get through the tough times, whether they're at school or at home or wherever they may be. In this short presentation, I'm going to share with you some tools that I have in the classroom. They're not just decorations, even though they are very cute, but I love doing this because it creates a safe, welcoming space for my students and actually for teachers on their break as well. I've had a few in my classroom just come in and take a deep breath because it's a calming mood that I like to set in the classroom. First, I'll share about Dr. Maria Montessori. She is a philosopher that is way back in the early 20th century, and she developed methods at her first school that she opened, Casa dei Bambini, which means House of Children. It was opened in 1907 in Rome. Montessori believed that emotional environment was just as important as the educational, academic one. She believed that when children felt emotionally secure, they were more likely to explore, engage, take ownership of their learning, and really just grow. Her philosophy laid the groundwork for what we now know as social emotional learning. Building on those ideas, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or CASEL, has helped shape how students approach this work. CASEL defines SEL as a process through which students learn to manage emotions, set goals, maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. It's a framework that empowers students and educators. So I want to share with you some of these tools. This is a weighted sloth. This sits in the child's seat and has, this one's 4 pounds, so it adds pressure and they can hug for that comfort of there. I have some liquid timers. Students can flip those over and watch the liquid drain, which is very calming. Fingerboards, and just mindlessly focus on tracing, and it's a repetitive action that is calming. I like to have the pillow here that says it's okay to feel. And when a student is shutting down and they don't want to tell me how they're feeling, they can point to how they're feeling, and then we can address those feelings at that point. Here is my fuzzy rug for a calming corner to where they can just sit and relax and bring all of those anxieties, hopefully, to a close, at least for a little bit, and just learn how to reset in the moment. In my classroom, I've seen children come in and they just shut down, and it could be from any number of things. This past week, I had someone just shut down because I wanted him to read. And I pulled out a timer and sat it down, and he watched it, and eventually he started reading. So that was a wonderful thing. It helps the students to feel like they have some control of their emotions once they learn how to use these tools. It gives them a way to regroup and start over, essentially. And I think it's important that as an educator that I honor their emotions and their feelings just as importantly as we need to honor the fact that they need to learn. They're there for a reason. In closing, if we want to teach the whole child, we have to start with the heart. Trauma-informed practices help us recognize what students have been through, but SEL is how we walk alongside them afterward. It's not enough to understand trauma. We have to respond to it daily in a way that we teach, connect, and create safe spaces. SEL makes that possible right in our classrooms. Thank you for being a part of the conversation and for creating spaces where all students feel safe enough to grow. I'd like to leave you with 1 John 3:18. Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. Thank you.